Picture this, you've been grinding for days. You equip your best weapon, your best armor, inventory filled with sharks. You make the treacherous journey, risking life and limb. You arrive at a mighty boss cave. Against every bodily instinct you enter, and you're met with this thing. Or maybe this. Yes, these are real concept designs for RuneScape bosses. And just imagine if they made it into the game. In 2017, old school RuneScape's strongest boss entered the game, weighing in at a combat level of 1400 with a max hit of 148. This boss struck fear and excitement throughout the community. But Zuck didn't always look as fierce as he did today. In fact, he looked downright ridiculous. This strange Beyblade looking monster was the concept designed by mod Alfred, who worked with Jagex from 2014 to 2016. In January 2016, he posted this on X, formerly known as Twitter, with the caption, "Do you want to see Jad 2 in the game? Work in progress." This design was also posted to the 2007 Scape subreddit in 2016, where you can imagine it met quite severe player backlash, with one user saying, "I thought this was supposed to be a boss, not an agility obstacle," and another saying, "After seeing this animation, I'm very glad they're giving us the option to push it back a year. It's safe to say that we were lucky Jagex decided to refine the design, but I won't lie, it would be hilarious having something like this in the game." Players were pretty disturbed by this concept design, but nothing compared to the next model that almost entered the game in 2007, that being the Penance Queen. As the final boss of Barbarian Assault, the brand new minigame at the time, players were extremely excited to slay this beast in attempts to get their hands on the new Penance armor set. With an examine text that says "Run away, run away," the Penance Queen was always intended to be quite terrifying, but the original concept design was truly nightmare-inducing. With a human-like torso and head, giant claws, and a huge slug-like body, this design is probably one of the most terrifying things that almost entered the game. And as an honorable mention, the monster in RS3 has also been redesigned, looking more like something straight out of a horror alien invasion game. In fact, most of the Penance redesigns in RS3 are pretty creepy, just look at them. Now, fast forwarding to a very recent update, the new mid-level boss Rat King Scurrius. I think the art team did an amazing job with its design. I'm actually currently grinding for the pet in-game, but the original designs were, interesting. During a game jam session, which is where Jagex moderators come up with new ideas, Mod Sani developed the first draft of the new Rat King boss. As you can see, the first design looked very different to what we have today. You'll probably also notice that one of those rats had a cannon. Naturally, the player base went wild for the new cannon rat. And I just want to mention this Reddit user named Hootie, who made this amazing artwork based on the original design. But the Jagex team kept refining their design, and eventually landed on this. Not this, I meant this monstrosity. Yep, we almost had a weird tail-connected rat thing instead of the fabled cannon rat. What a travesty. Fast forward to the release date on the 24th of January this year, and this is what we ended up getting. I'll always be somewhat sad that we didn't get the cannon rat, but I must admit that they did a great job with the final design. And while we're talking about game jam projects, do any of you remember this bad boy named Vulku that was suggested by mod Sophrin in April 2022 during the Wilderness Extension Game Jam? This monster was intended to be a wilderness multi-boss with a drop table similar to Next, in that multiple people contributing to the fight could have a chance at loot. I wonder if they're still working on this epic boss. I guess only time will tell. But something we do know the Jagex team are currently working on is porting over the quest Defender of Varrock from RuneScape 3. Well, with that, we'll see the legendary character Arav return to the game. Some concept art can be found on the old school RuneScape wiki page that looks like this. Pretty badass if you ask me. In RuneScape 3, he looks like this. But when he was initially released in 2008, he looked like this. So we'll probably be getting something closer to this design. And talking about graphical changes, this is an early design they had for the boss Cerebus. Released in 2015, this demon dog boss ended up looking closer to this design here. I think the team definitely went in the right direction. And looking at something a little more modern, the fairly new boss Duke Succulus, who entered the game in July 2023, was originally intended to have many more eyes and mouths. I'm not sure if I actually prefer this version more or the version we have in game. Let me know what you think. Another boss that looks very different to the original design is the Revenant Cave boss Revenant Malictus. Released in February 2022, this boss stands on all fours and has an ancient symbol sort of attached to its body. Well, interestingly, this tweet from Mod Jerv in 2021 shows the initial design actually had the boss standing on two legs and holding an ancient staff, looking like some sort of demon PKer. And it also had wings, so I wonder if they had any plans for flying mechanics at some point. But what about the designs that actually made it into the game? Well, you won't be disappointed. RuneScape had some pretty weird and wacky character models, like this imp design, which was literally just a mini person in a demon outfit. It was eventually changed to the model we know today, but personally, I think they went a little too far in RuneScape 3, where it now looks like this. That head is just way too creepy. And another old character model that I find quite interesting is the Penance Queen. Released in 2004, this is one of RuneScape's oldest bosses. You might remember the dragon chain body for being the ultimate achievement back in the day, but do you remember this character model? I have to say it looks pretty dated, but I actually do prefer the old flying model over the version we have today in old school RuneScape, and especially over the models they are using in RuneScape 3. And if there's a prize for a monster they've probably changed the most, it might just have to go to the various demons found across Gielinor. In 2004, this is what they looked like, whether it be regular demons, black demons, the jungle demon, or even the infamous Delrith. It's safe to say that they looked pretty freaking awesome. I honestly love these models. The versions we have today still look pretty cool, but I can't help but wish for a way of getting these old models back. If it's possible, I would love a RuneLite plugin that could do that. Talking about amazing older models, this is the way fire giants used to look back in 2005. I know the fire giants we have today look more realistic, but these guys are seriously awesome. And you can't talk about fire giants without bringing up their cousin, the ice giants, who were pretty much just a blue version of their fiery friend, but with a sick mohawk. And of course these green guys, the moss giants, who again looked almost identical to the others, but rocked a hood and held a wooden club. Another NPC group that were drastically changed were the elves. They've been in the game since 2005, originally looking like this. Their graphical update was one of the more controversial changes old school RuneScape has seen. This Reddit post sums it up quite nicely. To this day, I don't understand why this was ever changed. And the commenters agree, with one saying, the Prif elves got done dirty at a time the game had terrible art direction. They made a newer elf, Metherial, who looks fantastic. And another saying, Jesus Christ, what the hell were they thinking? But I think my favorite comment goes to this person, who said, just be happy they don't look like crack addicts like they do in RS3. And I mean, he isn't entirely wrong. But at the end of the day, there's something about the old character models that people really enjoy, whether it's nostalgia or just the fact the art style is unique. There has been a push for quite some time for Jagex to bring these characters back. As I said before, I think a RuneLite plugin is our best hope at this point, but hear me out, I also wouldn't be against a quest that takes you back in time to a realm that is in the style of 2004. Just saying, that would be pretty cool. And as a special mention, I'd like to highlight this tweet from Mod Rye back in 2002 that shows an early design for a cooking pet. I know this was probably a joke, but my god, it's marvelous. I mean, just look at it. If you made it this far, please subscribe.